Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this amazing sunset safari from the middle of the Kruger National Park, well, the western fringes thereof. 8.5 million acres of untrammeled wildlife wilderness that we're going to explore with you. You are live in the middle of the African wilderness, and this is Safari Live. And a totally different scene now, as I'm now driving the car. Isn't that miraculous? We're heading now down towards the Mulwati drainage line. My name is James Hendry. On camera today is Tanda. He is helping me again. He is dressed very nicely. Like I said to you yesterday, we're getting rid of the hipster slowly. He has got a normal t-shirt on, a normal hat. Unfortunately, he has developed the habit of wearing skinny jeans, which is that's a characteristic of his kind. And the beard, of course, we have yet to shave off him. Anyway, baby steps, baby steps. On the other vehicle will be Brent Leo Smith. He is being filmed by Brian Joubert, the killer bees they like to call themselves. He will no doubt have a special thumb to show you. My plan this afternoon is to head down towards the Mulwati here, just see if those wild dogs that we had this morning, astounding sighting. We had 3 wild dogs eating a nyala. And then some amazing behavior from them, where they seem to be listening to a call, or perhaps another pack somewhere further north. They left quite a lot of the kill sort of uneaten, and then they disappeared off, but we don't know exactly where they went, so we're going to go down and just check that they aren't down here. Thousands of, well, not thousands, maybe about 50 vultures came down and devoured the rest of their nyala and the innards that the wild dogs left about the place for them. Jamie had a leopard and some lions earlier on. We had some amazing elephant sightings and some lions, so it was a really good morning. We'll hopefully try and replicate it by way of action this afternoon. Once we've checked the drainage line down here, though, I'm going to head across to Cheetah Plains, which is in the far east. Now, you are on a live safari, if you haven't realized by now, and that means you must talk to us, please. Hashtag Safari Live or questions at wildearth.tv if you're on the email. So it's Twitter and email, the best ways to get hold of us. Carrier pigeons tend to be hit by falcons before they make it to the final control. Postal service in South Africa, a disaster. Telephones also. So Twitter and email, best way to get hold of us. And if in case you don't know where we are, well, like I said, we are in the Kruger National Park, and we operate on 3 little properties in what we call the Sabi Sand. No fences between any of the boundaries that we are not allowed to cross, so the animals are free to come and go. We focus our attentions here on Nkuhuma Private Game Reserve in the middle of the northern Sabi Sand. We go across east to a property called Cheetah Plains. It's not conjoined to us, so we drive a little way along one of the internal game reserve roads, and then off to the west, which is conjoined to us, is Nkuhuma, and that's where Shadow, our 9-year-old female leopard, or one of the 9-year-old female leopards that we look at, went this morning. And maybe Brent will go up and follow up there. So lots to think about and lots to enjoy today. It's a beautiful afternoon, about 24 degrees Celsius probably, 75 degrees Fahrenheit, and that's not too bad for the middle of winter. It was a gorgeous morning, but it didn't really heat up the way I thought it was going to. It's a good 4 degrees cooler than it was yesterday this time, and there is a wind blowing up from the southeast, which generally means that there's a cold front coming in. Yesterday, a hot northwester. So that is the lay of the land. Now, I've just seen a bird fly in here. I'm not sure what kind of bird it was, but I'm rather hoping it was an orange-breasted bushshrike. They're very beautiful. I'm just looking carefully. But no, I don't see it, I'm afraid. Orange-breasted bushshrike, a striking, unsurprisingly orange breast. But unfortunately, very secretive birds indeed. I shall show you a picture as we drive along. I shall show you my amazing multi-skilling task. Hello, Brian. You're aged just 11 years old. Please tell us where you're from. No, I remember where you're from. You're in Pennsylvania. That's where you are. And you say we helped you name your little lake yesterday. I'm assuming it's probably more a pond than a lake. Lake Tingana, after our wonderful friend Tingana the male leopard. And I'm very pleased that you've chosen that name. I think it's a very good name indeed. So thank you for that. You also want to know, while we look at a picture of an orange-breasted bushshrike, it's this one here. Handa. That's it there. And you also wanted to know what the mass of a steenbok is. Well, a steenbok, Brian, probably weighs in the region of 11 kilograms, which is about 23 pounds. What I will do now is just show you, I mean, you know what a picture is. You know what a picture of a steenbok is. And it's a steenbok, S-T-E-E-N-B-O-K. That's steenbok, or in English, S-T-E-I-N-B-U-C-K, steenbok. And that basically means a stone buck, and it's named such because what it likes to do when it's very frightened is just sit down on the ground. There it is. Okay, see, there's this, I don't know if you can see the spelling. That's the Afrikaans spelling. So you can spell it like that, steenbok or steinbuck. And the steenbok weighs between 7 and 16 kilograms, so about 11 kilos, which are about 23 pounds. Okay, there you go. And they only stand about this high, Brian. Probably if they were standing on the dashboard here, which would be very unlikely, of course, they only stand about that high off the ground, just over 2 feet. All right, let's carry on and head towards Cheetah Plains. Well, we're not going to head directly there until Brenty is up and running with Wendy, because we will lose signal on our way there. And thank you to all of you who are wishing my father a happy birthday today. Thank you very much. That's very kind of you indeed. Very kind of you. He's 73 today. Doesn't look a day older than 40. Well, maybe a few days. Wonderful. That's very kind of all of you. Thank you. I shall tell him later. He doesn't watch a great deal because, unfortunately, the bandwidth where he lives in a little coastal town called Kenton-on-Sea is, well, it's not great, and so you can't really watch it without getting deeply frustrated and throwing things through the window as it buffers. Little mixed herd of antelope we have here on the right-hand side. Let me try and get a bit of a view. We've got some impalas and some waterbuck. Unfortunately, they're all in quite thick bush, but there's a young bull waterbuck, and we know he's a young bull because he's got what we call a pen kop, which means a pen head, means that he's getting his little horns. There we go. And I'd put him at roughly, oh, I don't know, he's less than a year old. He's probably about 6 to 8 months old. In fact, maybe even less. No, let's call him 6 to 8 months. Their horns erupt quite early. And he's not much smaller than a fully grown cow. And obviously relieving himself because I am watching him. That is what happens with me. It's quite uncanny. And just a lovely little last bit of green as he moves. There's another one there, and there's a single male impala that was with them. It still is with them. It's just in this sort of thick bush. And the reason it's with them, of course, is for security. Just helps him to see what potential predators there are in the area. There are some alarm calling grey go-away birds going where. around the Twin Dams region. So let's head down there and see if we aren't lucky. Maybe those wild dogs will have come back and they'll just be lying in the mud by the water. Alternatively, maybe Karula will be around there. Alright, Brent Leo Smith has managed to get up and running with Wendy. He's kicked her into action. Let's head across to her and find out what's going on there.
Welcome to the Sunset Safari. My name is Brent. I have Brian Joubert, and to commemorate the tallest camera presenter operation team is the tallest thumb to date, and it was also a special request from one of our viewers. So there we go, the tall giraffe thumb running across your screen at the moment. And of course, sometimes Brian and I are known together as the killer bees because we find all the animals. Oh, I didn't catch that. Let's do that again. And now we're actually looking for lions. There we go. Tudor Ann, age 4, was asking for the giraffe thumb. Tudor Ann, I hope you're watching. Quickly, the giraffe's coming back, Tudor Ann. There it is. There it is. Oh, it's going to run away. And it's gone. There we go, Tudor Ann. The giraffe thumb. So there were lions all over the place this morning. And Jamie mentioned she saw tracks of a lioness and cubs coming into this area, so we're just going very slowly, checking through here, seeing if there are any tracks that come out of this block. Now, of course, what an exciting morning. Wild dogs, shadow. I, unfortunately, found one cricket and one set of cruiser tracks. When I say one cricket, I literally mean one cricket. And we did have to move out of the area walking in. There were lots of elephants and they were not in a good mood. So we decided discretion is the better part of valor and moved off. We have popped the camera trap up again on a different game path, so very exciting. I think I'm going to leave it for 5 days. Maybe that's a bit too long because the last time, for 3 nights, we got over 1,000 files to sort through. So maybe we should think about, maybe leave it for 3 nights again. Now remember, we are on a live African safari, and you can ask me questions. Questions at wildearth.tv via email or hashtag Safari Live on Twitter. I'm busy just carefully looking for lion tracks at the moment. A wonderful little green flash. It's really harsh light today, as you'll see. Very, very sort of almost like a whiteout, and the dust has now started rising from after the rain and starting to reflect. Oh, yay! Some of my favorite little critters. We might have to talk to them to get them to come out and speak to us. But they're normally, this little business is normally quite good at that. Oh, there he is. Hello, little one. Now, these guys will still be here in a few seconds, but what James has might not be. So let's go to probably one of the dwarf mongoose's biggest fears in the world.
That's a very good way of putting it, actually. That is one of the dwarf mongoose's greatest fears, a martial eagle. And as I said that, you can hear some squirrels starting to alarm call at him. He's a truly impressive bird, that, isn't he? Now that martial eagle, that's M-A-R-T-I-A-L, as in military, as opposed to, I don't know, martial, how else would you describe it? Somebody who helps you when you're running. That martial eagle is the biggest eagle that we get here. So it's probably about almost 3 feet tall, has a wingspan of well over 6 feet. That one looks a little bit old. Mainly because its neck looks so skinny, but I think it's because it's sticking its neck up. He don't want to be caught by a bird like that if you happen to be a squirrel. And I don't know if we can see, I mean, you might be able to get an idea there of the massive talons it has. Now those talons and the tarsal muscles that sort of are able to help it close the talons are extremely powerful. It will drill a hole right through small prey's skull, to be able to crush the skull of something like a scrub hare. I must say, I think that's a pretty skinny looking bird, to be honest. Doesn't look nearly as well muscled as some of them, which is odd. Can't see the squirrel that's alarm calling at it. But if you're a squirrel going about your business during the day, and you know you found yourself a nice tree to sit in and to forage in today, if that thing comes and sits in the tree next to you, it rather ruins your day, I imagine. This is an amazing sighting, people. We don't see this all the time. I mean, that really is nice. Aaron, you want to know how much bigger than a fish eagle that martial eagle is? Well, I'll give you the dimensions exactly. I don't remember them offhand. I'll just quickly check them up on the app. You can hear the squirrel going there. Martial is exactly 81 centimeters tall, so that's about, that's roughly 3 feet, yeah. Maybe slightly smaller than 3 feet. Wingspan almost up to 8 feet. In fact, more than 8 feet in some cases. Now let's find the fish eagle. I'll find it eventually. Come on. Oh, I thought I might find it eventually. Hang on 1 second. Sorry about this, Aaron. I will get it now. There we go. Fish eagle, 68 centimeters, so it's just over 2 feet. So almost, not quite. So let's say 3/4 of a foot, or 3/4 of a foot would be. Good grief! How many inches would 3/4 of 3 times 4 is 12. 12. No, not 12. 3/4. 9 inches. 9 inches bigger, 9 inches taller than a fish eagle. So quite a lot larger. Magnificent. Now they will eat squirrels. Their favorite food is actually rock monitors or tree monitor lizards, which they're very good at catching. But they'll take small mammals. I've seen them take a small impala once. Very small impala lamb. 2 of them swooped down and took a baby impala. So they're formidable. Now what I'm going to try and do is sneak slowly forward, and I'm going to ask Khanda to just keep the camera on him in case he flies. And if he flies, what I'll do is just stop the car immediately so you can get a picture of him flying. We have to go past him anyway. If he does fly a Khanda, he's going to go left. I say he, could easily be a she. No sexual dimorphism whatsoever. This is unbelievable that we've got this close to it. Isn't that amazing? Now you get a kind of appreciation of its size, everyone. That's a wonderful bird. There we go. Isn't that impressive? With the feathers? Gee whiz, look at those talons. Oh, he's going to have a... There he goes. Watch this, everybody. I thought for a minute there he was going to relieve himself. Looking, spotted something he might want to eat. Ooh, look at that, that's an angry face. Ooh wee. Isn't that amazing? This is fantastic. This truly is an unbelievable sighting. Now, that head bobbing, yes, it is looking. Oh, look at that. Look. Oh, wow. Isn't that beautiful? Huh. Stunning. Well done, Panda. Good sighting for the day. Let's carry on. Hello, Roger. You're clearly quite into your eagles of the area. You say, is there a crowned eagle around here? Roger, there isn't a crowned eagle here, no. The crowned eagle, well, I mean, potentially, I imagine over the years, probably one or two have been seen here at Nkuhuma. You can find them down on the Sand River, which is further down to the south of us. Trees are bigger. They're essentially a forest species. So you'll find them in the forests. We don't really have a forest here so much as a woodland, and so on the very large rivers in the Kruger Park you'll find them. Otherwise they're up into the hills over there where they eat monkeys largely. So not much in the way of crowned eagles here. Sorry, this microphone wire is just irritating me slightly. Jen Ward, you say, does Zander not mean egg? Zander? Does your name mean egg?
I hope not.
No. He says he hopes not. Jen comes from Alexander. And, oh, I know exactly what you mean. Jen Ward, you're thinking of the Zulu word iqanda. And iqanda means egg, yes. But this is, I'm calling him, and that's I-Q-A-N-D-A. But qanda is a different kind of click. It's with an X. It's not actually a word, I don't think. I'm just saying it like that because he spells it X-A-N-D-E-R. Alright, let's go across from Egg and James to Brent Leo Smith and find out what he's got for you.
Egg? I'm a bit confused. Has Zander turned from a hippie, I mean not a hippie, a hipster, to an egg? He's definitely not a hippie. Rebecca's a cross between a hippie and a hipster. I'm not sure. Sometimes she's hipster, sometimes she's hippie. But Brian, what are you? Brian's a
I don't even know.
he doesn't know. Yes, there we go. But so we've moved off into the sort of right into the northwestern corner of Nkuhuma. Now this area is a big thoroughfare for lots of stuff. I haven't found any lion tracks coming out, so I'm going to loop back and head a little bit back down towards the south after this. But also Jamie did say she had young male leopard tracks around Triple M, so I think young Sindile could be around, so always worth having a quick squiz, and hopefully we have some luck. Brian and I just enjoying this afternoon. We don't have a particular plan unless we find any tracks. We're just going to look for anything that might interest us, and hopefully it interests you as well. But so far no tracks. But that could change in a second. You can see the green flush coming through, and there's some impala enjoying it. Let's move around. There we go. Hello, Mr. Impala. It's amazing how quiet it is. Only the distant rumble of a bulldozer. For me, this time of the day is so fascinating because there's barely anything moving or calling. The birds are silent, the insects are silent. The bulldozer is not, so we're going to move on. Hi, Robin. Robin B's got a very interesting question, and it's a bit of a funny one. What differentiates between a ram, a bull, let me just turn that down, sorry. A ram, a bull, and a buck. So a buck we'll get out of the way because it's the easiest one, and it's the one we do not have here. Now, a buck is a male deer. We do not have any deer in Southern Africa, or naturally occurring deer at least. So a buck is a deer. And here, what we were looking at, here we've got the rest of them down here now. I'm just going to, there we go. Those are Impala rams. Now, a ram and a bull is dependent on size. So you have an Impala ram, and that is him. Oh, that one's got a massive growth on its neck. I haven't seen that one before. Have you seen that one before, Brian? I have not seen that Impala before. Now, it doesn't look like it's an infection. It looks like it could just be a large growth. Some animals get them. They're not really harmful in a lot of cases, especially if the animal's in good condition, which that Impala looks to be. So I think it's just a growth. Okay, well that's very interesting. But anyway, back to Robin's question. So as I said, that is an Impala ram, and an Impala female is known as an Impala ewe. A duiker would be a ram and a ewe, a stambok, a ram and a ewe. Everything up to an Inyala, bushbuck. Once you get to Inyala, it's a female Inyala is a ewe, and a male Inyala is a bull, and it's to do with the size. So then anything bigger than an Inyala, or from an Inyala up on the male size, is bull, and Inyala up, so once you get bigger than Inyala, kudu is a cow, eland cow, cow and bull, buffalo cow and bull, wildebeest cow and bull. So it's a size differentiation, apart from bucks, because bucks are deers. So Robin, I hope that helps you. We're going to leave these Impala rams to feed off the green flush and keep checking for whatever we might find. So I know Jamie had shadow in Arethusa this morning around Knobthorne Open, so I think she might take a squiz down towards Red Dam, so maybe we'll go have a little meander in that direction. So here we go, everything up to an Inyala is a ram and a ewe. Inyala is the turnover point where you have a ewe and a bull. And then anything from and bigger than an Inyala is a bull and a cow. Oh, just got to make sure you don't cause traffic jams on this road. This is one of the big access roads into the Northern Sabi Sands. And it is a big thoroughfare for a lot of different animals as well. Now, let's think. Brian, I think we should have a quiz. What do you think?
Yes.
I think a quiz is a good idea. What should we quiz, Brian? Animal, bird, plant?
What about an impossible tree quiz?
An impossible tree quiz. What a wonderful idea, Brian. Okay, we'll be on search for an impossible tree to do the impossible tree quiz. And it might be even more impossible because we might ask you a tree that's got no leaves. You're going to have to work it out from the general size, shape, and impression. So let's keep a lookout for the impossible tree. But while we look for the impossible tree, let's start you off with something that's slightly bit easier. Now, it is a bit of a tricky one, but I think most of our long-time viewers are quite smart when it comes to these little quizzes, and I'm sure if we do have any new viewers, you'll catch up quite soon. So, we've just been talking about antelope, or rams and ewes and bulls and cows, as opposed to a buck and a fawn, which is, or no, fawn's a baby deer. Oh, I can't now. I forgot. I do. Oh, we're causing traffic jams again. Off we go. And so the first quiz will be an antelope quiz. What country in Africa has the only natural occurring deer population? And if you want bonus points, where is it? And what species of deer is it? So let's see if you guys know that. What country in Africa has naturally occurring deer? What country and in what area in that country? And I'll give a hint to the area. It is in a mountain range. Now, to send those answers through, it's questions@wildearth.tv or #SafariLive on Twitter. Now we have unblocked the road. No one else coming, no. So remember, what Africa has a naturally occurring deer population? And then again, whereabouts in that country is it? And I did give a hint, a mountain range. And what species of deer is it? Okay. It seems like we're at rush hour. Should we play chicken? No, I'm only joking. Oh, let's slow down, some dust. Okay. So I'm keeping my eyes peeled for the nearly impossible tree quiz. I think we should make this really impossible. So, no weeping wattles, no white berry bushes, no knobthorns, no combretums. I think I have an idea. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, so, and it happens to be on the way to where we think shadow might be. So we're going to keep heading towards that area. Hopefully we'll even find shadow with the nearly impossible tree. You never know. Our luck might be that good today. So while we head into Arathusa, let us jump back on board with Commander Bond.
I'm waiting on the hill. Oh, sorry everybody, I was singing that song, Shadow. Here we are on Twin Dams Wall, and that's where we watched the wild dogs drinking this morning. When I point, Zander, the guests, the viewers, you see that if they turn their heads, they'll just see the wall next to which they're sitting. So when we point, we generally, there we are, that's it. So now you can see where the wild dogs had their drink this morning, and they were playing around in the mud for a little while, and then they ran off. I just thought I'd quickly come and check if they didn't come to the water here, and now we're going to go to Cheetah Plains. I've been saying that for 3 days. I've yet to get there. Now I really, truly, strongly, absolutely mean it. Until we find Karula just around the corner here, and then I won't be going there anymore. Okay. So the dogs killed just down here in the Mulwati drainage. There we are. And pity, poor Kleiner has to work with me. And they killed a nyala, an adult female that looked like to me. Not much, no, nothing left of her now, because that's a duiker. Because the wild dogs and the vultures finished it off. There's a duiker just in there. There we are. And duiker, of course, are rather skittish, so we have to stop a long way away from them if we want to watch them just behaving normally. The difference between that and a steenbok, especially for our friend in Pennsylvania, is, well, the difference is not so much the colour in this particular region, but the general sort of behaviour and the size. So here, a brownish grey, and a steenbok, a very rusty red. There we go. And that face is so distinctive. and a bit bigger than a Steenbok, probably about 17 kilograms for a female, up to 20 kilograms for a female, and a male slightly smaller. And that in pounds you can multiply by 2.2 if you want. So for a big female, 44 pounds. Okay, that's the duikers. We're going to head on to Cheetah Plains now, where apparently there's a little lodge to the north of Cheetah Plains called Jacobin. And at Jacobin there were some... you right? Okay, we're okay now. You don't have a sort of close-up of my brain. The dogs were left going towards this little lodge called Jacobin, which is just north of Cheetah Plains. They might pop out there. We might be lucky on the clearings. We've had 2 nice sightings of them there on those Cheetah Plains clearings. Right. Nothing in the Mulwati drainage. And as I said before I went on leave, I've been trying to find out, because so many of the names that we use for things, like the rivers, they sound like they're local words, but if you ask a local person, so I said to Herbert, what does Mulwati mean? He said, well, it's not actually a word, it doesn't mean anything. So I said, well, where do you think it comes from? And he said he thought it was probably Mlwamati, which basically means the biting waters. So I'm not really sure when there were waters that were sufficiently strong for them to be described as biting, flowing down the Mlwati, but that's probably what it is. So from now on, these days I say Mlwati or Mlwamati, which means the fighting or biting waters. Fighting waters, not biting, sorry. Molwanini, no one knows what that means. That's the other big river that we cross here. There's big one at Londolozi called Mshaben, which sounds like a Shangaan word. Nobody knows what that means, where it comes from. Another one that we used to drive through regularly called the Tugwan. That's not a word in any language. So it's funny how these things just get lost throughout the years. Normally, because they're passed on from generation to generation by people whose first language isn't the name, or isn't the language in which the name is. That makes sense. So we're now on the southeastern corner of Nkuhuma, and we're about to cross into sort of no man's land. So we're allowed to drive on this road, but we can't drive north or south of it. Torchwood will be on our northern side, that's the left hand side of your screen, and then to the south of us, or the right hand side of your screen, is Chitwa. There we are. We are now terra incognito to the east, everybody. I hope you're excited. The other thing we have to look out for on this road, of course, is Tundi. Now, Tundi is Shadow's sister, Shadow's twin, and she's had 2 cubs apparently. We haven't seen them yet, and it would be very nice to see them indeed. And we thought for a while that she was going to have her. There's a grey hornbill. There it lands. No, it doesn't, it flies. There we go. Not quite as impressive as the Marshall Eagle, but impressive in its own way. And the most plaintive call, and where that red and yellow-billed hornbill go, what's kind of a sort of cheerful morning sound, that thing makes a mournful throwing its head in the air in a mournful and miserable fashion. Right, on we go. That's a very loud revving noise this car is making. and one of 4 hornbill species, the one of course being, gee whiz. Now, I just want to show you something here. This is how thin the vegetation's got, from both from elephants and from just the function of the season. There's the Chitwa Lodge, and I've never seen it before. Well, I mean, that's not the actual lodge, that looks like a hangar. In fact, it is a hangar because that's the airstrip. But you can actually see it through the trees now, which we couldn't before. It's interesting. Rather looking forward to getting to Cheetah Plains. We're going to be able to see even further. Maurizia, you want to know if Tundi's moved her cubs from underneath the deck at Chitwa? I don't know. You know, I've been out of it for 2 weeks. I haven't heard anything about it. I'm going to say yes, I think so, probably, because she won't enjoy the movement of people around there. It'll be noisy for her. It'll be slightly intimidating. So I think she'd probably taken them into the drainage line, probably close by to the lodge, but I don't think they'll be there. Now, you may well lose signal with us here, but if you do, we'll catch you.
So we're still searching for the nearly impossible tree, but at the same time I'm going very slowly so we don't miss any sign of shadow. So there are some Thuza vehicles who are also looking for her. Hopefully, fingers crossed, the cub might be there as well. So she crossed a little bit further to the south than where we are. We're just double checking that she didn't come back to the west. Well done, Kat, Robin and Kyle, who got that spot on. It's red deer in the Atlas Mountains of Morocco. Now, the reason that there's a remnant population of deer in Africa there is that area is where the land bridge between Asia and Africa was, and it's the same land. The deer used that same land bridge that people moved out of Africa on. So depending on the level of the seas, which has changed many, many times over the last 4.2 billion years, that land bridge has been open or closed. There was some people who said Klipspringer. Unfortunately, Klipspringer is an antelope, and an indigenous antelope to Africa, and then also fallow deer in Madagascar. So we also have fallow deer in South Africa, as well as Madagascar, but they are introduced. Hello, Impalalas. Don't you want to spot us the leopard? Sorry, I was just listening to the game right there. Sorry, Dovey, what animal was that? Okay, copy, thanks. Copy, thanks very much. Yeah, I'm checking now down towards Red Dam from Parallel. Sorry guys, I'll be back with you in a second. And they are all over the place this morning. There's individuals all over Vuyatela, two Brummies, but most of them are quite close to Vuyatela, Buffelshoek boundary, that area. Sorry about that, just letting the guys know what's happening with the lions, where they've all been moving, and very exciting news, and that's why I stayed on the radio for so long. So we're looking for shadow, but we're also looking for a possible new female leopard in the area called the Ingrid's Dam female. Standing by. Negative, it was Jamie. She crossed, basically heading straight towards Knobthorne, open across Triple M. Oh, yes, just letting them know where Shadow went. I think she might maneuver down towards Red Dam. This is a favourite haunt of hers, but it sounds like not too far from here. There was that Ingrid's Dam female, if I remember correctly, is her name. So she's a new leopard that's moved in from the west, and from a property I know called Ottawa, which is part of the Singita Traverse. So a young female searching for territory. Wouldn't that be exciting? And if we did manage to find her, that would be my 21st different leopard since I've been at Safari Live. Exciting, 2 different leopards to look for. Oh, we got some silhouetted Egyptian geese against that harsh African light. Talking away. Now they'll also be very happy with this little flash of green grass. And as they are grazers, oh, there sounds like there's another pair at the water's edge. Maybe they're having an argument. Let's go a bit closer. Hi, Ben. Ben is 14 years old, and Ben is asking, do leopards move their cubs the same way lions do? They do indeed, Ben. They don't want to leave their cubs in an area for too long because the scent might start to linger and another predator might find them. Oh, hello, hippopotamus. Enjoying the waters of Red Dam. Very still. Well, it actually doesn't look like, I thought there might be another pair of geese here, but it actually just looks like there's a single one who's being escorted away by the pair. This is our spot of water. It's just so incredibly still at the moment. Apart from those geese chattering, you can almost hear a pin drop out here. Well, no sign of any leopards here at Red Dam, just the lonely hippo bull. At least he's a lucky hippo bull. He's found himself a patch of water that can almost cover him. Well, definitely worth our while, if we have no luck in the search for leopards, is going down to the Arathusa waterhole. Last time I was there, must have been 8 fish eagles fighting over the catfish that are caught in that drying mud. There's a Natal Franklin. Pecking at a bit of elephant dung, seeing if there's anything worthwhile in it. Obviously not that one particularly. Just try to slide. Oh dear, you can't slide forward on that. can see how they open up the elephant dung there, scratch around, look for any potential food in it, insects as well as seeds or anything. Oh! I wonder what gave it such a fright. Heard a grey go-away bird alarm call, but quite far away, and it just disappeared down. Okay. Hi, James Dungan. James is wondering, do Egyptian geese come back to the same place as they were born, like Canada geese? They don't, because they don't migrate. So they're resident in an area. So they might come back, but it's not an instinctive response to return like it is for the Canada geese. I'm just going to be on the radio for a second, just to figure out where Sean would like me to check. Sean. No, I can't get hold of him. We'll check up towards Knobthorne Open where Jamie last had her. Hi Alexis. Alexis is wondering, do we have any bluebirds in our area? We've got quite a few bluebirds, and I'm sure... Oh, did I hear a bluebird calling? We have a blue waxbill. We have the starlings, which can look... Well, they're very bluey green, iridescent. And I thought I heard a bluebird, but I think we're going to have to ask James to show you the bluebirds. And he's got the camera that's much better for birding than I do. But if I see one close, Alexis, I'll definitely show you a bluebird. I'm just checking. I thought I saw a track. Let's get back. Carefully check this. It's on a bit of hard soil, and I just want to double check. We don't want to miss any tracks, do we now? Caught on me. Hyenas. Just on the hard soil, it looked a bit different. I saw something over here I wanted to double check. Also hyenas. Oh yeah. But keep moving. I'm feeling quite lucky today. I don't know about you, Brian. You're also feeling lucky. Exceptionally lucky. Must be the giraffe thumb. Okay. Now, James has reached Cheetah Plains, or reached signal, and he's got a bird. Alexis, hopefully it's a blue one. Let's go have a look.
Now, everybody, we've got some red-crested corhans. Now, they don't have any obvious red crest, and these ones never do. That's a female, and her little chick, who's probably from this season, but they don't ever get the red crest. It's only the male that has a red crest, and he only sticks it up when he does this outlandishly ridiculous dance for the female in order to attract her. And otherwise they don't really have a red crest at all. There's the chick, who's not so much a chick as a fledgling now, definitely well able to fly. just slightly smaller than the mum. This is a really, really good sighting of them. Brilliant stuff, and I think that's you can tell if it's male or female. The males are grey on top of the head. That might be a young male, just going grey on the top. And there's the female. She'll be looking for any kind of invertebrate that she can find, any sort of form of insect or grub. Listen. She's just calling the chick. She went, ah. Look at those, such distinct arrows on the feathers of her wings. And they fly very well, these birds. They're not restricted to the ground at all. But you can see they are ground operating or dwelling because they're so beautifully camouflaged. And it really truly is an astounding thing to watch these animals doing their sort of mating dance. It's a little bit like watching sort of it's like watching sort of an extremely drunk person, drunk man, trying to dance his way into a woman's heart, which normally doesn't work, of course. In fact, it never works. I'm just going to quickly talk to Herbie while you enjoy that. Go ahead. And sit up lanes. Herbert's just saying that he's found some lions, but they're on Vuertela, so I think Brent will probably go back towards them. Look at that, isn't that wonderful? Look! Okay, copy. I'll get hold of Brent. So, Rebecca, just if you'd let Brent know to get hold of Herbie on channel 1. Isn't that amazing? This is a fantastic sighting, everybody. It really is. That's fantastic. Good. Female red-crested Nkuhuma. On we go, kinda. That's a really, really nice sighting of those birds. Turning the radio down, there's an impala in there. We have seen an impala today, so I think we're going to just continue. Well, while we look at these male impala, Taylor, you want to know if we will see a secretary bird on this drive. Taylor, it's possible. We're going towards some clearings where secretary birds might be, but to say definitely yes or no whether we'd see a secretary bird is nigh on impossible. I mean, we have really no idea if we're going to see a secretary bird or not, because we don't really know where they live. They're not common at all. So I mean, you can almost guarantee that you'd see a hornbill or two, and maybe a starling, an oxpecker on some of the antelope, but to guarantee seeing anything else is almost impossible. You know, you'll see lots of other things, but to guarantee a specific species, very, very difficult. Alright, just beautifully, see how beautifully they blend into this vegetation here. It's my opinion that, you know, many of the animals here are ideally suited for camouflage in the winter time when the colors are like this, and not so much in the summer when it's, you know, it's very green, but because the bush is that much thicker, there's that much more for them to hide behind. Hello Liz, nice one from you about, you say since Cheetah Plains is a different kind of ecology from Nkuhuma, would we likely see different migrants here? It's really not that different. I mean, these woodlands are almost precisely the same. There are one or two tree species that are different. We do go onto the sodic areas to the south here, which, I mean, they're a slightly different habitat, but they're so close to Nkuhuma that, no, look, it's unlikely we'll see, you know, completely different suites of bird species. I'm just trying to think of birds that, well, we see those ostriches. They like to live in the open areas. They're not migrants, though. What else? You know, you might find a wattled plover, I suppose, which you wouldn't necessarily find on Nkuhuma. Well, you've got the Temminck's courser. That's a nice bird that we haven't found on Nkuhuma, and they like the clearings, but they're not migrants. So I guess one or two different species, but not that many, no. I say that now, we'll probably arrive there and find a whole plethora. But you know, we really aren't that far away, and even if we were to take, you know, we got Cheetah, I mean, I could draw you a map, but Cheetah Plains 600 hectares, which is about 1,500 acres. It's not a big piece of land really, and we're not that far from Nkuhuma, so the suite of species really won't be that different. I think we'll take this road. Its name escapes me. I think it's actually Central Road. It's definitely got so much more open here. No leaves on the trees anymore. And maybe we'll be very lucky and bump into Nkanyeni. Hello Snow, you're a new viewer. How appropriate that you start watching us in the winter time with your name like Snow. You say, is it much thicker in the summertime? Absolutely, it is vastly thicker. If you were to look through, perhaps, so if Zander pans to the left here, a thick bush like this, you wouldn't see more than, say, I don't know, 15, 20 feet into the bush before you would just, well, everything else beyond that will become invisible behind a wall of green. Right, let's go past 3 in a row pans, see who's thirsty. And please just remember, lovely to talk to you throughout the drive, especially if you are a new viewer. Hashtag Safari Live on Twitter, or questions at wildearth.tv if you're on the email. Right, nothing much having a drink here. Maybe we'll find Quarantine, the male leopard, who Brent seems to find every time he drives past this pan. Either in this marula tree here or on that termite mound. He is upon neither at the moment. Now that doesn't really surprise me, I have to say, because it's been... Well, I mean, the lack of animals having a drink doesn't surprise me. It's been... I mean, it's not cold, but there's a chilly wind blowing up from the south. So if you're out of the wind, it's quite warm, but otherwise it's not warm. Let's just roll down the hill here. I heard a male red-crested kohan calling. Some unusual birds here. I can see the kohan. That's not what I can hear. There are a whole lot of wattled starlings. Now, they are not migrant, but they are nomadic. Zander, they're on the ground around here somewhere. Can you hear them calling? You hear that? I can't actually see one though. There we go, there they are. into the top of that marula tree. But there's some much closer that are just calling, but I can't see them. Let me go back a bit. Michael, while we do that, you want to know the difference between a Corey bustard and a red-crested corhan. A Corey bustard is about 3 times the size of a red-crested corhan. Very similar shape, though. Corey bustard, the world's heaviest flying bird, at about 13 kilograms. Oh man, I can hear these things calling. Where are they? Oh, I can just, every so often I just see a flash. Anyway, I'll show you a picture rather than waste too much time here. That is the red-crested, not the red-crested corhan, this is the nomadic wattled starling. Let's have a look-see. And they're not, the males are quite impressive to look at. But they come into an area for a while. By nomadic, I mean they'll come into an area for a little while, and then they just disappear completely for months on end. And that's them there. The males won't have that magnificent or very impressive breeding plumage. They won't have that at the moment. Stunning. So they'll just be like that sort of drab one there, the non-breeding plumage. Very attractive call, that. Okay, on we go. Ooh. It's quite interesting. Apparently there's a male lion just up ahead here. Last station, I'm on 3 in a row, Pan Road. Confirm I can make my way there. I didn't copy how many stations are there. Copy, thank you. Confirm, best approach, just keep coming on the road. Marvellous. There's a lion just up ahead, everyone. Copy, thanks. That's a stroke of luck. Apparently, we need to look for vehicles either side here. Just been found. One of the Birmingham boys. There it is there. Let's go in here. Now Cheryl, you're in Oregon already wondering about whether the Birmingham boys are going to manage to maintain their territory or have it stolen from them. Cheryl, there's no one else around at the moment who might try and take them. So yeah, they're absolutely fine, but I'm not sure for how long. I mean, it can change at any stage. I'm just going to wait here and get some information from Ephraim. Hey, minjani kwalana? Inkomo. It's marvelous. Thank you very much. That's interesting. Right, now see if you can spot the male lion, Panda. You see it? Well spotted. He's fast asleep, so I don't think we'll spend a great cheapers. That is a fat belly. That is the fattest lion in the universe, everyone. Looks like he's eaten a fairly large elephant. Ah, wonderful. I'm so glad he waited until we got here before he did this. There we are. Superb. Ah, look at that. Ah, spectacular. That is a very, very large poo. That is unbelievable. That truly is quite astounding. He's a big fellow, this. Not sure if he's just big because he's eaten half a house. So these Birmingham fellows will spend quite a lot of time apart from each other. And the fact that he's moving at all with a belly like that's quite impressive. This is a high action lion sighting. There we go. Shame. Fast asleep. Isn't that lovely? Magnificent. Right, let me move a little bit closer. We'll get a nice view there. There we go. Isn't that nice? I'm amazed he's awake at all. Now, of course, the air around here has suddenly turned fairly fetid as a result of that enormous pile of dung that he deposited on the ground. Green cloud is assailing my nostrils, and both Khanda and I suffer from the same balding problem, and of course being around air like this makes the last remaining hairs in your head fall clean out. Don't be surprised, Khanda, when you get off the vehicle and find that you are now in fact shiny on top. At least he's deigned to open his eyes for us. I do wonder what he's eaten. Enormous barrel-bellied. Otherwise a very, very silent afternoon, which is lovely. I'm just going to ask Rebecca to tell Brent he needs to get hold of Herbert on the Game Drive channel. Oh, that's so nice. Hello, Mohammed. You're in Doha. I'm not sure we've heard from you before. Wonderful to hear from you, and thank you for talking to us. You want to know how many lions there are in the Birmingham Coalition? Mohammed, there are 4 male lions in the Birmingham Coalition. There used to be 5, but one died as a result of the injuries inflicted by a buffalo bull they tried to kill. And the other 4 are in fine nick, and they spread around, you know. So one of them, I think, is definitely trying to mate with one of the Nkuhuma pride lionesses. I'm not sure where the other 2 are, so that that will make 3 of them. But I couldn't tell you where the other 2 are. And they have an area. They have a total area of about, I'm just trying to calculate it in my head here. Oh, I don't know, probably about 6,000 hectares or so, which works out at about 14 or 15,000 acres. Mohammed, please tell us if this is your first time watching. I can't remember hearing from you before, and so it'd be really nice to know that we're being watched all the way from Doha for the first time. Ah, you say you have, Rebecca's just saying you have been a viewer for a while, but you're quite new. Well, great to have you with us. I've just got to quickly talk to Herbie, everybody. Herbie, Brent is on cheetah, on Arathusa. I think he's going to a leopard sighting. Now Herbert has found those lions on Nkuhuma. So what we'll do is go driving through. We'll drive through the clearings here. If there's nothing there, then we'll head back towards Nkuhuma and have a look at those lions, probably as they get mobile. The light is very bright. Monique, you're in London and you say, is there blood on him? Yes, there is a bit of blood there, just on the nose, and I think you'll find that that's probably from the claws of another lion. So whatever he was eating there, or whoever he was eating with or stealing from, has just, it looks like a sharp claw nick to the nose. Beautiful. Alright, I don't think we should hang around here. I'll tell you why. There are cubs at Nkuhuma. Brent's not going there. He's trying to find some lions. So let's go into the clear, at least a leopard. Let's head into the clearings, have a quick look around there, and then we'll make our way back towards Nkuhuma, I think. Simply because he ain't going nowhere. He's just going to lie there, doing very little indeed. Okay. On we go. Stations, I'm sorry, I'm only copying people who are very close to me here. I'm going to leave this single male static in the same place. Best approach 3 in a row, Pans Road. James, you're interested in why it is that these Birmingham boys spend so much time separated from each other. Well, it's because it's the best way to look after their vast territory, and it's not unusual, it's completely normal for a coalition of males to split into either pairs or sometimes into ones, and they all patrol the area. They come together if there's a big kill. They come together every so often just to roar and shout and make a big deal about themselves. But otherwise, it's really not unusual to find them alone. And that's the best way for them to maintain such an enormous territory. Righty. So we'll go straight into the clearings, have a quick look through there, and then we'll see about heading back towards the lions on Nkuhuma. Right, let's turn that up a little. Sounds like Brent is going towards Herbert now. It's all very confusing to find out what's going on. Sorry, go again with that, Rebecca. I'm getting 74 radio transmissions in my ear. Hempstead School. Are the lions always so relaxed around us? Yes, they are, in this particular area, but that's only because they're used to the vehicles, and they're only used to the vehicles because we've spent so much time around them. If you see a lion completely in the wild in a vehicle for the first time, they normally get up and run away as fast as they can. And then after a little while, because they're so confident, they realize you're not a threat and they just start to ignore you completely. Leopards take much longer to habituate because they're not nearly as confident of their own dominance like lions are. Wonderful to have. Apparently all the students at Hempstead School love watching these safaris. Well, it's good to have you with us. Thank you. I'm just going to ask Rebecca to try and find out from Brent what his plan is, because I'm a bit confused as to what we should do. We might spend a bit more time here if he's not going to go to the lions. Hello, Finn. Finn, aged just 8 years old. You say, do I think that lion had a stomach ache? He looked like he had a stomach ache, didn't he? He had so much meat in his belly. You know, a lion which weighs about, I'm going to assume, Finn, that you're in the United States, but you could be anywhere, of course. You know, a lion which weighs about 200 kilograms, 440 pounds, can probably eat up to 100 pounds of meat in one sitting, and he looks like he ate about 100 pounds of meat in one sitting, and that's sitting very hard in his belly. I don't think it hurts too much. It's probably uncomfortable. He just feels very full, and you'll find that he finds it quite difficult to actually breathe with all of that stuff in his stomach. Much, much meat indeed. Alright, apparently Brent isn't going to go to the lions, so we'll just do a quick turn through the clearings here, and then we'll head back there. I'm just going to drive a little bit faster, just in case we run out of light, which I... Oh, goodness, I missed that very large termite mound there. Sorry about that. Xander's still on the vehicle, everyone, fear not. Whoops, sorry about that. And Rusty's suspension, of course, is about as soft as a brick, so really nearly lost him. Nearly lost him again there. Now, am I correct here, Rebecca, that we have somebody by the name of Crybaby Firepants? Is that what I heard? Tar Baby Firepants, as if that's better than Crybaby Firepants. Thank you very Tar Baby Firepants. You have a question about... I'm just going to take a moment to compose myself after I heard that name. Right, Tar Baby Firepants, you want to know if we get female cheetah here. Sometimes, not often. I've never seen a female here, I've only seen those two males. So they're not common, but I imagine they must come through here from time to time, or those males wouldn't hang around here exclusively. Right, we're into the clearings here. Beautiful impala. We've got some warthogs the other side. Let's just keep going straight down through here. There are the piggies in front of us. Not much else drinking at the waterhole here. Quite a nice sounder of warthogs here, and they're quite relaxed. You can see the nice sheen of green that there is here on the clearings as a result of the rain we had. There we go, looking with great suspicion at Xander's beard. See that, Xander? She's very suspicious of your beard. She's never seen a human being with such an impressive beard before. She's just walking around us to get another look, get a different angle on it. She's absolutely incredulous. She's also never seen skinny jeans before. But that is not to deter her from the... Oh, there it is. There we go. Yeah, they are skinny jeans. I know. It's bizarre, isn't it? Correct. Wait till he wears the lumberjack shirt. She's loving the green grass here on the clearings. She just... You wouldn't have heard that. She looked up, looked straight at Zander, and she went, oh, and then turned her back. She's disgusted. I think that's pretty unfair. She's just obviously quite conservative. Doesn't quite, not as liberal as some. He also has a fairly intimidating tattoo of a knife with an eye in the middle of it on his arm, which I think possibly the warthog caught sight of there and became nervous. I'm trying to see the makeup of the sounder here. That's the boar you're looking at now. It's a male. Female we were looking at. Yeah, 3 females. A boar and 3 females. I think, if I was to guess, I'd say they're the same age. They may well be from the same litter. No, they're not. Yes, 2 of them, the 2 females are the same size. The one on the far left, not there's one. That one is a bit smaller than the other 2. It wouldn't surprise me to find that they were the same litter though. Alrighty, let's not hang around. That's an impala in the background. I just want to make sure that we do get back to Juma with sufficient light, because I think there are cubs with those lions. They're in a very difficult area though, so I'm not in that much of a rush. We'll just sort of slowly start to make our way in that direction. Oh, somebody wanted to see a blue bird earlier. Oh, you beastly thing. It was a Cape glossy starling. There we go, it's landed again. It's bluish, iridescent blue and green and black, and that was Lexus who wanted to see that. Well, there it is. You see it there? Well done. Now the reason it looks like it's lots of different colours is mainly because it isn't actually blue. That's a very fancy trick of light. Oh, you see, just relieved itself, obviously. Very fancy trick of light there that's played between some keratin, some air sacs, and some crystals of melanin, as far as I'm aware, that gives it that colour, absorbing bits and pieces of the white light that shine on the bird and reflecting just the blues and the purples and the greens. So that is the Cape glossy starling. Almost could easily have been a greater blue-eared glossy starling. They're almost identical, but for their call. So in that sort of light, at that distance, it's very difficult to tell the difference between them. A little bit faster onto the next clearing, and I can smell fire in the air. That's totally normal for this time of the year. There'll always be a little bushfire burning somewhere. Especially if there's a bit of a wind blowing, you'll smell that. Now, it's quite an interesting thing here. Well, let me just go back a little bit. This is known as a prop, everybody. There, we've been through that crime scene over there a few times. It's a buffalo crime scene. Female buffalo was killed. And then, just so that the guide doesn't have to move too far, one guide, Zonda, that appears to be blurry safaris. There we go. There's the crime scene. And down in front of us, there we are, is the buffalo skull. That has been placed there, I can say almost categorically, by a guide, so that he doesn't have to go too far from his vehicle when he drives past here. And he can say to his guests, "Oh look, a buffalo skull." And he can get out. Well, he probably doesn't want to get out, so he just shows it to them. You'll find props in various parts of these game reserves that to the uninitiated eye look like they were placed there by the animals very conveniently. Righty. There were some cheetah around apparently at one stage today, but I think they around Nkuhuma, but they went into, what is that lying under the bush there? Is it a wildebeest? I believe it to be a wildebeest. No, it isn't a wildebeest at all. Can you see it, Zander? It's an amazing sighting. See? Amazing, isn't it? You know what it is? No? Try again? It is. Correct. It's wood. Well done. Good job, just testing you, keeping you sharp. Sorry about that, everyone. Let us continue. Hello, Mike. Nice one from you. Also, you say besides showing you animals and looking for birds and animals, do we ever look for poachers? No, we don't, Mike. I mean, well, obviously if we saw a poacher, we'd report it. We are very much what we call guides, so we are not rangers. And while some guides like to consider themselves rangers, and I mean, we've all, three of us, Jamie, Brent and I and Steph, we've all done ranging work, which has included a bit of anti-poaching and land management and that sort of stuff, which is the standard fare of a ranger. No, it's the rangers that look after the poachers. And these days, unfortunately, poachers are fairly heavily armed quite often. And so for us, you kind of need paramilitary units to go around looking for poachers. For me to take on a heavily armed poacher with an AK-47, well, yeah, it's not really going to happen. So no, absolutely. Our very presence here is a deterrent to poachers, and that's why rangers love to have tourism operations on these reserves, because it means that there's a presence all the time. There are always people around driving. We'll see footprints of people crossing roads. We'll see people walking through the bushes. There's always a good chance we'd catch poachers, but we wouldn't actually engage them, because you can get yourself into quite a lot of trouble unless you're very well trained for that sort of thing, which I am inescapably not. Now, in the old days when poachers were less well armed, then it was okay, you know, you could just get a few chaps and go out and arrest a fellow. These days, you really got to have a bit of military training, which is not really, as they say, my vibe. Now, Brent Leo Smith, I think, is on Arathusa, but I think he's got no signal, so that's why you haven't heard from him recently. But we'll go back to him eventually. Yes, I can't see much in the clearings here. We'll just go up to the top here and scan the clearings of Mala Mala. Right, we've got some nice birds here on the right hand side here. We've got Swainson's Franklins. Now, David W., while we look at the Swainson's Franklins, you say, where are the ostriches of Cheetah Plains and when do they breed? Where they are, I couldn't answer, I'm afraid, but they, they're nomadic. They move around. They're not always in the same place. And as to when they breed, I'm going to assume it's sort of standard issue summer month breeding, but I'm going to check for you. Let's have a look quick. Ostrich. It's interesting. Can't find the ostrich. Stand by, David, I will find it for you. I promise. There we go. Right, breeding. Eggs laid one or more. Yes, we know that. Lots of eggs laid on the ground. Male does most of the night incubating, females during the day. Doesn't say when. This is ridiculous. Oh, laying dates. It says throughout the year, but can be triggered by rainfall in arid areas. In Zimbabwe, all months except January. That's quite interesting. So all throughout the year. That's fascinating, actually. I had no idea. Thank you, David, for asking me that. Totally unseasonal breeders. These little Swainson's Franklins will do most of their breeding probably in the summer. I'm just trying to find the odd buried insect, I suppose. Ants, maybe? Termites? Alrighty, let's head back across to Brent Leo Smith. He is back in signal range. I'm not sure what he has to show you.
Well, we're sitting on the edge of what was once a mighty waterhole. There's no water left, there's just mud, and there's a poor hippo looking very, very distraught with life. I think he is still alive. You can see he's moved the mud around him. But I think this hippo, I'm afraid, is probably not going to make it. Although animals do surprise you. Now, the reason we've been in that bad signal area was a very good reason, and we're very, very sad about why we had to leave that particular spot. Brian and I have been lucky enough to just see a female leopard that we've never seen before on Safari Live, and unfortunately it just seems to be in one little spot where we've got no signal. So we've been trying to reposition and move around that area for the last while to try and get a visual or a spot where we had signal. And I'll let you know who the female is. It's Insele's last cub. Insele is the daughter of Salahesh, so it's Salahesh's granddaughter. She does not have a name. She's not seen very often. So we were very excited to show you, unfortunately. What I am hoping, fingers crossed, is she moves out of that black hole into a signal area just now. So we're not going to move too far. I heard some elephants behind me. Sorry about that. Just trying to see where those elephants are looking into the sun. So, hi Snow. Snow would like to know, does Africa have the biggest range of large animals, or just specific large animals? I would say most definitely. If you look at the large animals that occur in Africa, hippopotamus, elephant, rhino, buffalo, am I missing any? Giraffe, okapi, gorillas, lions. Okay. Just trying to see. I'm hoping those elephants don't live in a bad signal area as well. Well, don't live but are in. Okay. You can see the elephants just make them out. There we go. There are the ellies. Okay, the elephants are just through here. It looks like quite a large breeding herd. Okay. There we go. Hello, ellies. There we go. Lovely herd of elephants. You could hear them from the dam wall. Those low rumbles, a bit of a trumpet. A young female walking in the golden light. So elephants are having to move big distances at the moment between food and water. Actually sounds like there's a lot of elephants around here. I can hear some more deeper in the bush, breaking branches. There's a young, looks like a young bull there. Here comes another young boy. Hello, mister. Lovely backlighting. Sean, I left her about 2 minutes ago unattended. She's still sleeping in the drainage. Over. Look at that beautiful light this winter's evening. It's amazing how an animal that size can melt into the bush and disappear. Okay. Now, I really hope that little female leopard is going to come out of the little dip she's in, and hopefully we'll have some signal there. So we're not going to stay too far away from the area, but I've just spotted a beautiful big bird. Here we go. Quite an iconic species in Africa, the African fish eagle. Now that is juvenile. It hasn't fully got its adult coloration yet. You can still see there's a bit of brown and white mixture around the head that will turn into pure white, and that beautiful deep dark chocolate brown on the wings. Now, of course, they're taking advantage of all the catfish that are caught in the mud of the Arathusa waterhole. Beautiful. So peaceful out here. Apart from the elephants breaking trees behind us. That leopard is about 300 meters from us. Then on Arethusa, is it in our traverse? If so, why don't we go look for them? There is a very, it is not on Arethusa, it is on Elephant Plains. It's outside of our traverse. They've got multiple dens there at the moment, so we cannot go across there, unfortunately. Very interesting. So I'm not exactly sure what year this female leopard was born, but I just want to say a couple of years ago, so she could be 2-3 years old. This is also what was considered core shadow territory. So Salahesh has been here. Salahesh has been here recently. Salahesh just behind the lodge. Now, in my excitement to follow up on that unknown female leopard, we forgot about the nearly impossible tree quiz. I think now is the perfect opportunity. There we go. Let's try. Well, I suppose it's not the nearly impossible tree quiz. It's the warm up to the nearly, yes, that's well put, Brian. Warm up to the nearly impossible tree quiz. So there we go. It's growing on top of a termite mound, and we don't see them too often growing on top of the termite mound. It's got beautifully whirled leaves. So when I mean whirled, they whirl around a spot when they come out. So there we go. You can see the leaves all come out, and they come out in a whirl. And not a tree that's often eaten by elephants, but now, because of the drought, very much taking advantage of any tree species. You can see the ellies have broken a big piece out of the middle there, and they've broken quite a lot of the end branches. But it also has the most incredibly fragrant and beautiful flowers. It didn't flower this year because of the drought, and the flowers are white and yellow. And it's absolutely exquisite. It's one thing I'm quite sad about not flowering this year. So if you know what tree this is, hashtag Safari Live on Twitter, or questions at wildearth.tv if you know the answer to the warm-up to the nearly impossible tree quiz. Oopsie. Here we go. So it grows sometimes on top of termite mounds, other times along riverbeds. Okay. Speaking about trees, Brigitte and Peter would like to know, is there a tree in the bush that helps cure a stomach bug? Just hang on a second. No. It was a dove. I thought it was a bit more interesting than it was. That helps cure stomach bugs. There's quite a few different trees that you can use. You can use the roots from a leadwood, very high in lime, so obviously it helps with upset stomachs and things like that. And I'm trying to think, there's quite a few. A little succulent called a mother-in-law's tongue. I'm not even joking, that is its name. Okay. plan of mine pans out, we slowly move through this area. I'm hoping she's going to come towards us. There we go. A little duiker. I can't see whether it's a female or male just yet. Looks like maybe a female. Now, it's underneath a tambuti tree, and there's also some jackalberries there. And I think what it's doing is actually feeding off leaves that have fallen from the tree. Careful, duiker, there's a leopard nearby. A little one. Quite nice to see them relaxed. Normally they disappear at a rate of knots, but this one's going to slowly meander down into the little river system. Okay. It's getting to my sort of favorite time of the day, late evening, when some of the big cats start moving, as well as, of course, the wild dogs. And what a sighting you had with James on the sunrise safari. Remember, if you want to ask any questions, hashtag Safari Live on Twitter, or questions at WildEarth. If you're an emailer. I'm just keeping my eyes particularly peeled in this area, hoping to see that new female there. Okay, well, we keep checking. Let's go see what James is up to.
We're going to be on for 1 second, and then we're going to lose. Sorry about this, everybody. Perhaps something has pushed over the Gowrie repeater, just like the elephants have pushed over this marula tree. Our technical team is rushing around madly trying to fix it, and we'll be back with you as soon as we can.
Hi everyone, we are experiencing technical difficulties, but please bear with us. Our engineering department and our tech department will be working on getting us back up and running as quickly as possible. As you know, bringing you live safaris from the middle of the African bush is not always the easiest task in the world, but we will be back up, and stick with us because you never know what might be on your screen when we return to you.
So unfortunately we experienced some tech difficulties. That's one of the things about being live and in the bush, but our tech crew is on it and not asleep like the lions behind me. Hopefully we'll be back with you shortly.
Now look, I know this isn't the most amazing picture of an animal you've ever seen, everyone, but it's a duiker, and you know what it's eating? We're quite a long way away from it, but it's eating the very last remains of that nyala that was killed there by the wild dogs today. Isn't that amazing? It's just kind of sniffing it out there, and we know that various antelope, duiker especially, are known for it, or are supposedly recorded doing it, eating meat. Especially in a drought time like this there, you can maybe see it sniffing on the fur of the nyala that died there. And it'll probably chew on a bone or two. It might eat a little bit of meat, but you know, they don't really have the stomachs, the acid digestion required to digest meat properly. But definitely to have a lick at the bones to try and get a bit of calcium and phosphorus. That is really cool. Hello Tiffany, you are Shanae's sister. Shanae, for those of you who don't know, everybody, is a guide at Nkuhuma, which is down the road behind us. Hello Tiffany, you want to know how big a duiker is when it's born, what it weighs? I couldn't tell you, I'm afraid, Tiffany, I'm not sure. I'm going to say, well, I'm going to say roughly, if a big female weighs 17 kilos, I'm going to say that her youngster probably weighs in the region of 1 kilogram or so. But I couldn't tell you, I'm afraid, exactly. Probably about 1 kilo, 2.2 pounds. Quite precocial, so they're absolutely able to stand very quickly and move around. Right, we've come back to Djuma, everyone, obviously, because that's where that hapless nyala was murdered by the wild dogs this morning. I always get into trouble when I say that. Anyway, I just think it sounds very dramatic. It wasn't a murder, obviously, it was just a kill for food. And we've come this way because the lions are not too far from here. Well, they are still probably about 10 minutes away. We're going to try and get to those lions with the cubs before the sun goes down. And I must just apologize quickly for the lack of a break in transmission, the lack of signal. Yeah, it's pretty normal for Rusty when she's coming back this way along the road from Cheetah Plains, but Wendy, we're working on, she's got a couple of new innards inside her, which are making things a little difficult, and it's just going to take a little bit of time for us to sort that out, and then she'll be fine. We're going to drive relatively quickly, but we won't go too fast. But we just want to spend a bit of time with him before the sun goes down. And it's not too far from going down now. I'd say probably about 30 minutes or so. So unless we see something utterly spectacular, we won't stop. But we're welcome to chat as we go. I may just point at something and then just keep going. So Zander better be on his top form. Difficult to be on top form when you know, it's difficult to move when you're in skinny jeans, you see. There is a kudu, a quick sighting of a very beautiful kudu bull with large horns, very nice. That was a great sighting. Let's move on. Hold on tight everybody, we're turning right. Still there, Zander? Good, good, well done. Another big kudu. He's got a bit of a fright from us. And he's just rushing into the sun there. That's very nice. Nice smooth camera work there from our hipster from Cape Town. Doesn't get tired for me. I'm sure it's going to get very tired for him fairly soon. Ooh, the aerial just detached itself and hit Zander on the head. Are you alright? Yeah. He's okay, everybody. A mild dent in the back of his skull. Oh dear. I must confess, the engineering on that aerial is slightly unusual. No, you can't hold it. Sorry everybody, we've got a major problem. We'll just try and fix it quickly. Brilliant. Now, although he dresses like a hipster, his mind works like an engineer's. How are you doing there? Alright, well, hopefully that'll be sort of okay for now. Rebecca? I don't know if Brent is available, but I think this is a fairly major repair we're going to have to do here. He's not quite available, everybody. Zander, what is going on there exactly? It's got nothing to push against, has it? Has something come off it? Has something come off it?
No, I just scrapped the
right.
bungee. It was like this to keep it with this.
Ah. Okay, let's go back to Brent quickly, everybody. We're going to try and quickly fix this and then we'll go to the lions.
Whoa, so it seems like the gremlins are rife in Arathusa today, so we're going to head back towards Juma. Hopefully we'll find something there. So I'm going to go back towards that area where we had tracks of Karula on the sunrise safari, on the bush walk, and see if we can find anything in that area. Quite exciting. But the one wonderful thing about being out here in the bush is you never know what could be around the next corner. So hopefully lots of things. So maybe the tree wasn't as easy as we thought it was. We've had fig, milkwood, I think you meant milkberry, but it's not, and a terminalia. Those are all unfortunately incorrect. If I do see another one of those trees, I will stop. Mauricia is wondering if we get any of the cottonwood trees with the pink flowers in this area. I don't think so, Mauricia. I don't know. I don't even think cottonwoods occur in Africa. You might have to give me the first part of their scientific name and I'll let you know. Sometimes with quite a lot of tree species, I'm afraid I'm a bit bad with the common names, but a bit better with the scientific names. But I've never heard of a cottonwood in Africa. There are some kapok trees, maybe, but even those, most of the kapok species have been introduced from India and Asia. Trees we have with red or pink flowers, we've got scotias, weeping boer beans, an African flame tree in Central Africa. What else? I'm trying to think. Sorry, it's getting a bit nippy. I'm just pop my jacket on. I'm just trying to think of any other. Oh, making this a little bit more difficult than it should be. There we go. Oh, nearly there. Oh, there we go. Now where'd my ears fall to? Okay, that's why it has a clip, so I can't lose it constantly. Otherwise, I probably would. Okay, there we go. Let's get this one. There we go. That's a bit better, a bit more toasty. So apparently, Tracks of Shadow has headed south into Hoffman's. Laura and Anne, well done. You guys are spot on and correct. It is indeed a gardenia, the low-felt gardenia, Gardenia Falkensi, the tree of the people in Afrikaans. Now, volk is the Afrikaans word for the folk, the Afrikaans people, and it was called the Gardenia Falkensi. So the trek Boers, the guys who tried to move into the interland of Africa to get away from the British, when they ran out of certain parts for their ox wagons, the gardenias were used to make axles. So that's where the scientific name for that comes from. Hoppa. Hi, Arena. Arena's wondering if we get rubber trees in Africa. We do have certain rubber tree species in Africa that have caused some of the worst atrocities caused by colonial powers in what was then the Belgian Congo. People were forced labor to harvest rubber from the Belgian Congo. So yes, but not down here. Oh dear, this thing is just not working for me today. It keeps me falling out the whole time. There we go. That's a bit better. Okay, so we're about to leave Arethusa and head back to Djuma. So I'm just going to say goodbye to everyone here in the west. Heading back to the north, thank you stations, and swap over to the northern channel, which is Djuma. Stations crossing back from the west, can I have an update for the afternoon, please? Copy, thank you very much, Tax. So, oh, Tax was that. 130 Ingwe, but crossed into EP and then Shadow into Hoffman's. Okay, so we're nearly there. What have you spotted, Brian? Oh, you're just having a look around, giving everyone a nice sort of view of our surroundings as we trundle along towards the boundary of Arethusa and Djuma, which is actually just there. James. Let's see what Commander Bond's up to. Okay. Oh, And there we are, there's Triple M. So apparently this is where Shadow crossed into Hoffman's with tracks of the cub, so the cub is still alive and doing well, so that's always good news. Hi, Jen, who's in Dubai. Jen would like to know, when the cubs, Shadow and Karula's cubs, were younger, were they a threat to each other? I think you mean, was Karula a threat to Shadow's cubs and Shadow a threat to Karula's cubs? I would say yes. I think they definitely recognize the bond, but if she had to come across those cubs, there is always a possibility that it might end badly for the cubs. And I mean, although I was lucky enough to witness the only ever recorded case of leopard adoption that has ever happened, as far as we know, it might have happened, where a female leopard adopted her daughter's male cub. And actually, strangely enough, he became quite a famous leopard that adopted young cub in the southern Sabi Sands. I think it was the 5'5" Dudley Riverbank male. He might have been called something else in his older age once he became independent. But there were two boys. One grew up with his mom, and the other grew up with his gran. But they adopted at quite an old age, probably about 5-6 months. Oh dear! Sorry, we do apologize. It seems to be in quite a technically fraught afternoon, so James is having to return back to the Democratic Republic of Congo to try fix the aerial. So we are going to head towards the Lions, which means I have to be on the radio for a second. Excuse me. Station controlling the Zangara of Aubrey's. Confirm, make my way, and what is best access? Copy, thanks. So confirm vehicular access just to the east of Aubrey's Junction. Copy, thanks very much. Okay, let's go look for some lions. Now Herbie found these lions on foot earlier today. Always exciting walking lions on foot. I wonder how hungry the Nkuhumas are. Maybe they'll take us for a treat, out for a hunt, dinner date. Hi, Sean. Sean is in Secunda in South Africa. Sean would like to know, he says, never seen lions eating a waterbuck. Is there any particular reason for this? Sean, there is a bit of an old wives' tale, an African myth, that lions do not eat waterbuck because of that gland that they use to secrete that oily substance over their fur, that it tastes bad. I, however, have seen lions eat many waterbucks, so I think that's not true, and I'm trying to think now. I've heard of the Nkuhumas on waterbuck carcasses, just unfortunately outside of our Traverse area. So lions will eat waterbuck. And there might be just a certain area that they don't particularly fancy waterbuck. One must remember that animal behavior is quite often area specific as opposed to species specific. So lions here can behave completely differently, even to lions in different parts of the Kruger. Let's get going. Try, if the cubs are there, we're going to have to get there before it gets too dark, so I'm just going to speed up slightly. Hi, Jilly in York. Jilly is saying, well, if lions make a kill, do they not go for the throat like leopards seem to? Jilly, they do. It just depends on the circumstance. If you're referring to the Nkuhumas on that buffalo kill on a few nights ago, the reason she was going for the nose hold rather than the throat hold is that was a particularly big buffalo bull. You might find if there'd been a male lion, sorry, Kudus, hop, 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 hop. Sorry, we're in a rush to see some lions. Hopefully you don't see them. Now, so Jilly, the lions and also with smaller creatures that leopard need to use the strangle hold on, lions are much bigger and stronger. They can just do the cranial bite, so bite through the top of the skull. But with that buffalo, sometimes with a lioness, it's a bit, the esophagus might be a bit too big. So they go for that nose hold. Also, and that nose hold gives them a little bit of control over the head and those vicious horns. And what happens is that they bite through the nose, and it causes massive hemorrhaging from all the arteries and veins in that in the nasal cavities and that. And when the buffalo starts or is breathing heavily, it actually helps to kill the buffalo quicker because it drowns itself. So it inhales that blood in its nose, and it slowly fills the lungs, and that's how the Nkuhumas killed that buffalo on Sunday. Lots of impalas and kudus all over the place. Okay, we shouldn't be too far now. Definitely feel that temperature dipping as the sun dips to the west. But while we're rushing towards the lions, I'm still keeping a check out for any other creature that might pop out. Hi, Gemma. Gemma is in the UK, and Gemma would like to know, will the Birmingham boys have other prides opposed to the Nkuhumas and the Styx pride? Apparently they've been seen with another pride, I think it was the Torchwood pride, east near the Kruger boundary, and yes, they will, if they have the capability of getting more prides, more females, more genetic material to be passed on to future generations. And that's how their evolutionary brain works. The more females you can mate with, the better chance your genetics have of being passed down. Okay, so there should be a little track going off here. And somewhere here, maybe up here. Did I get bad directions? Aha. Yeah, it looks like some vehicle tracks coming out here. Where are the kitty cats? Hopefully they haven't decided to move while we were on our way. Now every bush is looking like a lion. Yeah, kitty, 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 kitty. There they are! Yay, they haven't moved. Let's get around where we can get a better view of them. It's almost the perfect time to arrive with lions, because they might be just about time to get up. Oh, right, there's a Birmingham here as well. I did not know that. Hello, mister. I thought it was just some girls and some cubs. Okay. Hello, big boy. Let's try to find a spot where we can get a better visual. There are some attack of the aerial. I can see one cub. There could be a few more. Oh no, there's cubs everywhere. Suddenly spotted them here, down near the Birmingham boy. Hello, little. So there's 3 cubs here that I can see. 2 lionesses, 1 male. There we go, they're the 2 lionesses. The 3rd cub is just to the left in the bush there. You can just see him behind there. Okay, now I know where everyone is. Now I can plan my parking a bit better. Oh, and another male lion. So there's 2 Birminghams. Didn't see him earlier. You got him, Brian? No. Let me just go forward maybe a little bit. Behind, in the straight line from the other one, sort of there. There you go, there's a 2nd male. A very flat cat. Okay, let's just see, I think we're going to be able to sneak through this little gap here. Should give us a better view of some of the littlies. How's that, Brian? Not too bad. The other 2 aren't in the best position, but these ones are. I'm just making sure that I haven't missed any other lions about, so I'm just checking. We've got 2 males, 3 cubs, 2 females. Now I know Jamie had a single lioness who was off Listen, they're calling the cubs. Mom. Mom. So Jerry Connor is wondering, is the infant survival rate of prey species better than predators? There they are, the cubs there. Probably not that much better. Hello. Now, there's just more of them. But yeah, I'd probably say it is probably a little bit better. Well, it looks like they're coming to investigate us. They're sneaking in behind us, those two. Hopefully they come up to Mom. No. That looks like a good spot to have a snooze. What are you up to? Are you going to stalk your sibling, or are you going to have a snooze as well? Or are you going to stalk Mom and Aunt? I think I see a bit of mischief in that one. Yes, definitely. I see a bit of mischief coming our way. Oh, they are just too precious. Yes, that's a thorn tree. Oh, we're going back to stalking siblings rather than Mom or Aunt, because siblings not watching. Oh, but I stood on a thorn. And gave my position away. And attack. Very half-hearted attack that was. Just sit. Sit on you, I'll sit on you. Oh, big yawn. They are just too wonderful. Well, they're definitely looking like they have eaten. Again since the buffalo. What? Difficult to say. Some of the female, the mom looks a bit fatter than the others. I think that was a good look. The Birmingham's one Birmingham looks quite full, the other not so much. There you can see mom's quite rotund. So she's had a good feed recently. And then the other lioness looks like she's fed, but not too much. Oh, here we go. Mischief's on the move again. Bryony's watching you. Oh, you're going towards the male. You're feeling very brave. I wonder if you're going to get growled at. No, lying down. Oh, second cub's up and moving back towards the two females. That's going into stalk mode. Look at that, crouching lower. What's it stalking? Stalking mom's tail or stalking a sibling? Sibling. Decided to take a break from stalking, but it's too strenuous. Let's see, are we going to stalk again? decisions. Okay, now we're going to stalk mom's tail instead. No, we're still a sibling. Are we going to use mom as cover? That's the question, yes. Let's use mom as a bush. And patience. Lie down and wait again. Hi, Valeria. Valeria is wondering what my take on the injured cub is. I haven't seen it yet, Valeria, so I'm not going to comment until I see it. I think that might be it, but that cub hasn't moved since we've arrived here. Well, these are incredibly hardy animals, but as you know, around a carcass or a kill, there's always a possibility they can get injured. A swat from a male, getting in between a fight of an adult, between an adult's fight, is very easily injured in those situations. But I've seen them come back from some incredible injuries, even little ones. But I haven't seen the injured cub up and about. These two cubs, I'm presuming, are not the injured one. I'm presuming it's the one sitting by itself off to the left. Oh, yeah, elephant upset about something. Alright, the second lioness also looks relatively well fed now that she rolls over for us. But yeah, I'll have to wait till I see if they move, what the state of that injured cub is. Oh, here comes trouble. Playing with Auntie. Oh, I love those noises so much. Going to mom now. Hi, Ma. Ooh, another trouble coming in. Here come the noises. I'm going to keep quiet. Little growls. It's amazing how quickly their little growls become quite big growls. Who's the king of the castle? Belly flop off. There's Mom. You can hear them growling and playing behind. Liz is wondering, do male cubs tend to be shaggier around the neck and chest area? They do. Liz, oh, yeah, no, oh, not a big yawn. But at this age, not yet. Oh, there's a little bit of movement happening. And sometimes the cubs might cause the female to get up and move just from irritating it and playing who's the king of mom. With those sharp little claws, we'll dig into her. Oh, what has she seen or heard? She's only had a very focused look. Now, MG is wondering what happens first. Do the cubs stop suckling or does mom stop lactating? Mom stops lactating first. Oh, let's have a look at what's happening at the other two. I just want to see if that is the injured cub. I get a bit upset. So far it looks okay. It's difficult to say. Without having seen that cub stand up or move, I can't comment just yet. Oh, sorry about that. Brian's having a party.
I am indeed.
See, the little one's playing back, so it might be okay. As I said, till it gets up and moves, I can't really comment. Okay. See, she's... I just want to see if that little cub gets up and moves at any time to see actually that injury. I haven't seen the injury, as I said, but you can see, there we go. It hasn't got up, but it is playing still. And it doesn't look in too bad a condition. And then, I mean, sometimes wounds that look completely ghastly are not as serious as if it had happened to us. But of course it is a bit, just because I know there's an injured cub, it's a bit worrying that it hasn't stood up and moved and come to play with mom and the other cubs. The other cubs have gone to it, but we can't really tell just yet. Oh, sweetness. Closing her eyes to keep those claws out while trying to give a bath. And any of you parents at home thought it was hard to give a human baby a bath. At least they're not equipped with razor-sharp teeth and needle-like claws. It is getting a bit dark. We can stay a few more minutes. Let the camera work its magic. We don't have to put lights on. And of course there are two male lions here, which makes this whole scenario a much safer thing. No hyena in its right suspecting mind would approach lions when there's males around. Oh, it's time for dinner. Mom, Mom's like, no, you've had enough, and those teeth are too sharp. Wow, my mom, why? Wow, but I'm hungry. Proper whinger. Okay, there we go. Okay. No, I don't think. Oh, there we go. I can see the limp. I don't think it's that bad. I mean, you can see it's obviously sore, but it's playing and now feeding. I don't think that injury is too bad. We're going to move our way out of the lines, let them continue on their nightly endeavours without us. And while we do that, it sounds like James is back out on the road with some pachyderms.
We're having amazing elephant sighting here, everybody. Sorry we've been down. We've kind of cobbled together the antenna. It's back up, and we've just popped around here, around the Gallagher waterhole, and these elephants have been fantastic. That's the mother. She's quite old, I think. As you can see, her tusks are very worn, and that last tusk there on the left-hand side that you've just seen has kind of broken and worn down. Then there is her youngster, and that youngster was no more than 1 foot from the vehicle. It was just astounding. Wonderful, wonderful sighting. Anyway, we're just watching them in the light here, and we're not going to put a light on them, so if it does get a bit dark, sorry about that, but we don't want to give them a fright. So I'll just allow the final control to tell me when you can't see them anymore. On my monitor they look okay. And there's quite a pregnant cow there. That's a very pregnant cow. See how fat her belly is? And you notice noticeably fatter than the cow that we were looking at, the older one with her withered tusks. Yeah, she's definitely pregnant. Very difficult times for her trying to get enough to eat. These elephants are starting to wear it as a result of this drought. And unfortunately, you know, that little bit of rain we had, although it's created a green sheen of grass, it's not going to do much for the elephants. It's not long enough for them to eat really, so they can't get a huge amount of bulk or nutrition from that tiny little or very short carpet of green that is now covering Nkuhuma. Very subtle colours of the winter you can see there. The bronze and the grey, a bit of gold and dots of green. Just listen for a second as they feed. All we can hear is a few francolins calling in the background. One or two babblers. But it's really, we're into the changing of the guard now. Our first owls will start to call, maybe a nightjar. But I think there's a front coming in. I think it's going to be quite chilly tonight. The last of the crested francolins. They're all getting in on the act now. It's like the sort of fairly unskilled brass section in an orchestra. Just everybody blowing on their brass instruments at once. Stunning. So peaceful to watch elephants, especially in this kind of light. This is my favourite part of the day, I think. Just after the sun's gone down. There really is a real sense of peace. There's another few elephant behind us. Those ones have gone a little bit further away. So what I'm going to do is just roll back and swing the wheel. And with any luck, we will be able to see them nicely. No? Oh, it's not swinging. It is revving rather high, which is disturbing as well. There we go. A whole lot more coming behind us. Now they of course will have to feed for most of the night, especially the bigger ones. The little ones will lie down at some stage and go to sleep for a few hours at a time. The other thing I must just say, because we're down in a bit of a dip here and going down towards a depression, and the air is therefore hanging in this area, we can smell these elephants. And they smell like sweet leather. One's just a little bit nervous of being left behind. Tail out. Power walking. Let's move slowly down the slope here. You might get one last view of them. Wonderful. Well done, Kanda. Oh, it's such a wonderful smell, everyone. It just is so special. Especially mixed in with a bit of wood fire from the camp. We're quite very close to the camps. With the little one just listening to us. He's watching us quite carefully. Following Mum. We move a little bit further down the road. Another nice young bull right in front of us there. There we go. This camera is really very clever because that's very dark to my naked eye. You can just see the ear opening there and the very obviously square head. I think you can see that. You must just tell me if you can't, everyone. Square head of the cow. But I believe it is starting to get a bit dark. Let's spend 2 more minutes with them, and it probably will be too dark, and then we'll head off and see if we can't spot a creature of the night. Sorry about the aerial, not much I can do about that. I can try and move slightly. No, I can't. Yeah, I think it's probably getting a little bit dark now. Now listen, just listen carefully. Can you hear that? That's a drongo pretending to be a pearl-spotted owl. I think they do that to keep their territories empty and try and deter other birds, because a pearl-spotted owl is essentially a predator of other birds. So they're not. I don't think they do a very good impression of a pearl-spotted owl. But pearl-spotted owls are notoriously easy to con, and so maybe it's that their calls are so variable that the drongos can make sort of whatever impression they like, and the rest of the birds will stay out of their territories. And the other bird you can hear, my favourite out here, the white-browed scrub robin. Always when I think they've gone silent for the night, they give one last chorus. Okay, that was a wonderful elephant sighting. Let's move round back towards Nkuhuma Dam. Use round the other side here. To drive quite carefully with our aerial like it is. It could shear off at any stage. And we're not alone anymore. We have the entire engineering department consisting of Connor Teagues. Connor is currently holding the aerial in place, which I suppose might be described as engineering. He's hanging precariously off the back of the car. We did offer to bungee him onto the car, but he said no, he'd be okay. Ooh, sorry. I'm going to ask you to try and get a shot of that moon. Just the sliver of moon there. Ah, look at that, with Jupiter hanging below it. Stunning. There we are. Isn't that nice? Zoe, great question from you. You say you've noticed the light starting to fade a little bit earlier every night in your part of the world. I'm going to assume, therefore, that you're in the United States or perhaps Northern Europe. And you say, is it getting lighter here? Yes, it absolutely is, Zoe. Although we are most certainly closer to the equator than you are, and therefore the changes are going to be less marked than they are where you are, they are certainly, the days are getting slightly longer every day. And you know, when I went on leave, we had to use the spotlight for at least sort of half an hour to 40 minutes before the end of drive. Now we're just 8 minutes before the end of drive, and I suppose it's now kind of time for me to turn the lights on and the spotlight. So yes, making a big difference. And I think probably in about 2 or 3 weeks we will change the drives, because it's nice to have a little bit of night time at the end of the drive. About half an hour, 25 minutes, half an hour is a good time. People always, you know, when they come out here, they say, you know, that people often come out here and say, well, can we do a night drive? And the answer is yes, but, you know, unless you actually follow something into the night, it's often a bit of a letdown, especially with a camera, because the cameras are not great in the night time, even in this day and age. I think we're probably about 2 years off a proper camera that can handle really low light and still produce a nice picture. Kerry, you wondering about when we have to stop following in the animals. Is there a rule? It depends where you are. In many parts of the Kruger Park, in the public areas of the Kruger Park, you're not allowed out after sundown. So once the sun goes down, you've got to be in camp. You can't be following animals at all. But in these private reserves, there are no strict rules, no. There are strict rules about which animals you can follow, though. So you know that Brent left the lion cubs once the sun set. We don't view them at night because, you know, they're threatened enough, and, you know, lights sometimes attract hyenas and that sort of thing. So we don't want to create confusion. We want the pride to be able to protect them as easily as possible. Then we won't shine lights on elephants. They don't like lights very much. Oh, hold on. Here, we might lose the aerial here. So the diurnal animals we won't follow at night, but there's no actual strict rule about, say, a nocturnal animal like a leopard. If we wanted to follow a leopard in the night time, we could easily do that. Alright, we're going to drive round the corner here, down and up the other side, over the Nkuhuma Dam, and then we'll head for home. I'm just going to quickly show you see if there's anything in the Nkuhuma Dam, and then I'll say good night to you and hand you over to Brent for the last few minutes. It's a bit odd saying good night at 6 o'clock in the evening, I must say. It's kind of hardly afternoon yet. Let's just quickly go around the corner here, unless Brent has got something spectacular to show you. I don't think he does. No, he doesn't, so we're okay. You're not missing anything. Not sure why I think there's going to be something around the corner here, I just do. As Rebecca says, keep the faith, keep the faith. Yes, quite. Nope, nothing down here. Alright, well, we're going to drive up onto the dam wall, and bid you a fond farewell. Of course, we will be seeing you tomorrow at 06:30 in the morning. That too will change sometime in the next 2 or 3 weeks. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm sorry about the frustrations that there have been with the signal and the aerial. We'll hopefully fix that during the course of the night and be back up and running, possibly 3 of us tomorrow morning. Until then, stay safe and happy, and I'll hand you over to Brent for the last little while.
We're trying to get you an Inyala silhouette for the end of drive, and I can just make him out. I was hoping he's going to keep walking through, there he is, into a gap between the trees. It could be a spectacular screenshot. He's decided to keep still. We're going to wait for him. I think he's going to walk. Nice big male Inyala. There we go, he's on the move. Is he going to give you the Inyala silhouette we were looking for? No, don't walk there, there's trees. Oh, not quite, but worth a try. There we go, actually, oh yes, that's not too bad. Well, maybe if we move a little bit higher, we might be able to get a better silhouette. Maybe we can silhouette something else in this glorious African sunset. Brian and I are now on a silhouette mission. What can we silhouette next, Brian? I think we can silhouette a tree. I was going to say, it's probably the only one we're going to get right. Yes. Unfortunately, there's no giraffe to silhouette against this magnificent sky. But it is just magnificent. Let's just take a moment to enjoy that. It is absolutely beautiful. And it definitely does give me a feeling of joy when looking upon that. And we can hear a Scops owlet calling. And some cicadas calling due to that little bit of rain we had. Absolutely stunning. Half hoping to hear those Birmingham boys start with their deep roar. Of course, that was not a Birmingham boy, that was me and my lion imitation. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like they're listening. I don't think I've got quite the depth of roar that is needed to entice the males into roaring back. But again, it's been fantastic having you on the back of the vehicle with us. We do apologize for the technical difficulties and minor gremlin problems we had today. But from the killer bees, it's been great, and the tallest thumb in the world, the giraffe thumb. There we go. So we'll see you in a few short hours for the sunrise safari. Bonne nuit.